I'm Danny Wexelman. Welcome to the show. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings, and it is my favorite time of the year. It's Select Fest season, and on today's show, we're going to reveal the 11U East and West rosters. I'm going to have a couple of surprise guests as well to help us do that. Also, Jacob Kendall, last year's 14U Player of the Year, will have an amazing conversation with that young man. But let's start this show off like we always do with a road trip. It's time to shine a light on the class of 2023. Their national showcase is coming up, so let's find out what these guys have been up to lately. And where else would we find them than in East Cobb, Georgia, and the World Wood Bat 17U National Championship Tournament. We start with Santa Barbara's Cole Schoenwetter, who put on an absolute display Tuesday night. Check this out. He had 17 strikeouts, just one hit through 6 innings for Trotsky National in their win over Northeast Baseball Rays. The UCSB commit had 23 swings and misses. 23. He recorded his 17th strikeout with his 96th and final pitch of the night, which was clocked at 94 miles an hour. Our own Vinny Servino called it one of the most dominant outings in WWBA history. Cole Schoenwetter, remember that name. Next up, let's check in on a superstar outfielder for the Indiana Bulls. No, it's not #1 overall Max Clark, although he is great. Lately, however, it's been his teammate and second-ranked Hoosier State outfielder Andrew Wiggins, who's been turning heads. If you're a longtime fan of this show, you may remember Andrew coming on and playing some tunes for us on his saxophone last winter. Well, this summer, he's been making sweet music on the field all tournament long. In 6 games, he leads the Bulls with a .600 average, 3 bombs, and an insane 2151 OPS. You heard that right. The kid has an OPS over 2100 against the best 17-year-old pitchers in the country. And just to prove he could, he also hopped on the mound and closed out a playoff game Tuesday night, recording the final out with an 88-mile-per-hour heater and a 2-0 win over Mid-Atlantic Red Sox. Speaking of heaters, Snow Camp, North Carolina native Nate Teague was electric on Saturday for the Dirtbags in a shutout win over the Florida Panthers. The 6'7" Vandy commit was up to 94 with a heavy sinking fastball. He struck out 6 in 5 innings, and the 17-year-old right-hander had 10 strikeouts, just 3 walks in his 9 innings of work this summer. He seems to really have been finding his groove as the national showcase approaches. Currently, he's ranked outside the top 200. He could be a big riser. And last but not least, we checked in on the #4 overall player in the class, Trinity, Florida native Aiden Miller. The 6'2" shortstop's been locked in at the dish for top-tier Roos this summer. In 21 ABs, he's hitting .429 with 3 jacks, 12 RBI, and a 1271 OPS. The Arkansas commit is one to watch over the next 12 months. You can check those guys out, plus about 300 of their 2023 classmates at Perfect Game's National Showcase at the Trop, July 20th through 24th. That's exclusively on Perfect Game TV. All right, we're going to shift our focus from soon-to-be high school seniors to soon-to-be middle school students. When we return, Perfect Game's Northeast cross-checker John McAdams joins the show to break down the 11U Select Fest rosters. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Welcome back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Like I said, this is my favorite time of the year. It's Select Fest season. What are Select Fest? Well, let me tell you. Perfect Game has one at the 11, 12, 13, and 14U age groups. Essentially, these are the All-American games for each age bracket. An all-star game, if you will. And the guys who play in these games, they've earned the right to be there. They're a ton of fun, and it's a chance to really see who's coming up in youth baseball, who are some of the names that are going to start to grow and get better as they get a little bit older. So my favorite time of the year, no doubt about it. All right, I've made you guys wait long enough. It is time to reveal the rosters for the 11U Select Festival, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of help. Our Northeast cross-checker, John McAdams, joins me now, and we're going to talk about the second annual 11U Select Fest. So, John, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
We're going to start with the West side, John. But before we reveal the names and talk about the guys who are going to be playing in this game, what goes into the selection process, picking the participants for the Select Festival?
Sure. We have tons of events, youth events all over the country, and the identification process for the 11s kind of started last year in November at the All State Games National Championship in East Cobb. And myself and a bunch of other guys kind of made a list who we thought to keep eyes on. And then it proceeded as we move into our super regional NITs that started in January all over the country, and then kind of culminated in the 11U PG World Series, and then just most recently the PGI National Championship finished up yesterday at the 11U age group. So we got some final looks at some guys that maybe were on that borderline, and then we made our final decisions from there.
This is the second annual, so we're watching this event grow, and it's an opportunity really to see these guys at a younger age and watch them develop. How excited are you for this Select Festival?
Sure, it's been awesome to watch them kind of grow, even just from November until now. And it also, as you'll see on the rosters, it kind of provides depth throughout the country. There's kids from Washington State and Florida and Texas and Virginia and New Jersey. So just the amount of kids still playing baseball, the amount of talented kids throughout all the states and all over the country is really exciting. Just because you can kind of get lost and say, oh, Texas, Florida, all that stuff, but there's just as good kids all over the place.
All right, it's time to dive in a little bit to this roster, John. This is the West roster. So let's talk about some of them, get to know them a little bit better, starting with Antonio Gill.
Antonio's been somebody that we've known for a while, and just continues to produce at all the big events, whether it's a Super Regional NIT, the World Series, and so forth. He's such a dynamic athlete with quick hands at the plate, just day in and day out always performs. So he's a kid we've been watching, we'll continue to watch. So it's just a great personality that simply, no matter where you are, you probably always notice it.
There are two guys from the state of Washington. Introduce us to them.
Sure, we got Cameron Hockett, left-handed hitting first baseman pitcher, who was outstanding at the recent PGI for the eventual champion elite RBI team. Was really, really good at the plate. Only one run allowed in 9 innings at that event. And then you have Brody Gillespie, who is a member of New Level Baseball, who's a strong organization out in the Pacific Northwest. He hit 571 at the PGI as well for a team that made a playoff run. Shortstop, third baseman, does everything pretty athletically. Going to be fun to watch as well during the Select Festival.
There's also a couple of guys from the great state of Texas on this roster. Of course, Quinn Neal, Caleb Klein. Tell me a little bit more about those two.
Sure. So Quinn Neal, big Texas lefty, didn't allow a run in 10 innings at the PGI yesterday for the runner-up Banditos, but also swings it. So he's hitting 576 for the year, does everything well, and is going to be fun to watch as he kind of progresses because he's already pretty big, but we're going to see, like they say, everything bigger in Texas, so we'll see what happens there. And then you got Caleb Klein. He was actually the MVP of the PGI. He had 714 during that event for the eventual champions elite RBI as well. And he's just a kid that just hits, not just singles as we see and stuff like that. He's got 20 doubles on the year, 49 hits, 53 RBI. So he's like a hitting machine.
As we look at this West roster, what is so special about this group of kids?
So it's a bunch of kids. Obviously, you see the states, Texas, California, obviously the Pacific Northwest that we talked about. It's kids that play a lot of baseball, so they're going to be really fundamentally sound. They're going to make the proper baseball play. And at 11 years old, that's pretty exciting to watch as a scout. So that means they're being coached well out there, and they're going to continue to progress. So that's probably the most exciting part. Obviously, home runs, throwing hard is all exciting and stuff, but watching fundamentally sound baseball from an 11-year-old is pretty impressive.
All right, John, thanks. Stick around. We're going to bring you back after the break to reveal the East roster. But we're now joined by one of the members of the West squad, Antonio Gill. Antonio, congratulations. Welcome to the show. How excited are you to be a part of this Select Festival?
I'm really excited. I've been working really hard for this, and I'm happy that I got picked to go to Georgia.
We saw a video of you on this show. We're huge fans of yours. You submitted it, just showing us a little bit of how you do exactly what you do. So tell us about that video and what you were doing in it.
We go practice a lot, but my dad was off that day, so we went at night, and we were hitting off the tee. He threw to me, and then we have a machine at my facility, and that's what we hit off of. And then after we did all of that, we did some hand glove work for my field day.
Those are all great things. Tell us a little bit about your game. How do you play? What are we going to see when we watch you?
A lot of fun. I like having a lot of fun whenever I play. I play shortstop. I love hitting. I like to pitch. That's what you're gonna see a lot of.
You've been playing baseball for a long time. Why do you love this game so much?
Baseball, you have to be good at a lot of things. You have to have good contact. You gotta be fast. You gotta hit good. You gotta really work hard.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've seen these games, right? You've seen how the Select Fests work. What are you excited about? What are you most looking forward to?
Meeting new kids that I never met before, and playing against the best kids in the country.
Was this a game that you had circled on your calendar, or maybe a goal of yours to make the Select Festival?
Yes, it has been. I've been working extremely hard for it, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations again, Antonio. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you.
You gotta love Antonio Gill. When we return, John McAdams joins us again to reveal the East roster for the 11U Select Festival. You're watching Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Welcome back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. All right, we saw the West Side. Now it's time to see the East Side. The roster reveal for the 11U Select Festival. Here it is. Here are the names, seeing some of these for the very first time again. And to help me with all this, we're bringing in Perfect Game's Northeast cross-checker, John McAdams. John, this is the East roster. You helped assemble some of these names. You've seen all of these guys. And I want to start with Tyson Brown. Tell me about this kid.
Sure. It's a power arm for an 11-year-old. He's been up to 73, 74 miles an hour. 58 strikeouts to 6 walks for an 11-year-old. K to walk ratio is outstanding. But it doesn't stop there. He's dynamic on both sides of the baseball. Hitting close to 400 for the year. He was outstanding at the PG World Series for the Canes Florida Corns team, and also plays for Prime Baseball, who made a run at the 11U World Series as well. And it's also similar to Antonio Gill, just a great personality, dynamic type kid. Always has other people gravitate to him, so it's going to be pretty special for him to be part of that roster.
I see a guy on this team. He's the only one from the state of Virginia, so let's shout him out. Braden Miller, tell me a little bit about him.
Sure. Braden does everything right. He's a kid that we kind of saw in the Northeast events, and I kind of earmarked for possible inclusion in the roster, and then wanted to see him in some bigger national events, obviously. He was outstanding at the PG World Series for 5-star National Coverdale. He's another two-way guy. Power arm, low 70s on the mound. Everything looks easy in the field when he's playing shortstop, and then simply at the plate, it's fun to watch. It's home runs, singles, backside, putting a runner in scoring position. It's probably as advanced of an 11-year-old as you possibly could see. And I know that's tough to say sometimes because they're 11, but he just does everything right. It's as simple as that.
There's also a couple of guys from the Carolinas, North and South. Give me the details on some of those names.
Sure. Carter Nash, dynamic power hitter, hitting .545 with 11 homers already in 2022. Affects the game in both ways. 20-something stolen bases. Also is on the mound at times with regards to his SA Supreme team. So it's one of those types of kids at 11 years old that's good at both sides of the baseball, whether it's fielding, stealing bases, at the plate, on the mound. He can do everything, and it's fun to watch.
All right, John, what about Brody Taylor? What do we need to know about the kid from New Jersey?
The crazy part is Brody has played up the majority of the year, playing 12U. And with Brody, it's all business. It's left-handed pitcher, up to 75 on the mound, 12 home runs in only about 30 games played, he had a monster 12U World Series where he hit 684 with 8 extra base hits. So it's one of those types of guys where it doesn't matter the age group. He's playing up, he's performing. He's going down and playing 11, he's having an outstanding tournament. So he's one of those kids that we've kind of known for a while, that we identified as of late because he was playing up, but it was just dynamic from the beginning.
This game is on August 7th. It airs on Perfect Game TV. John, what are you most looking forward to about this Select Festival?
Listen, it's going to be a bunch of 11-year-olds having a bunch of fun while showing their baseball skills that are really, really outstanding for someone of that age. It's the kids that we're going to see in the future, whether it's they continue on and take part in other festivals, but it's kids that play Perfect Game all the time and we're going to see for years to come. So I'm excited for the future of our events with regards to these kids being at the forefront of it.
Yeah, John, we really appreciate you sharing a little bit more about these rosters. Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and I'm excited for the game.
All right, you heard John talk about him earlier. Let's bring him into the show to represent the East squad. Tyson Brown, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. We're so happy to have you. I want to hear, how did you find out that you were going to be a part of the second annual 11U Select Fest?
Mr. Tony, he had called us on the way home from the Elite World Series. He called us on the phone. Tyson, you are selected for the PG Select Fest 11U. I hope you're ready. And we were just excited at that point. On the way back home from a tournament, smiles. It was a very happy moment.
No doubt about it. And I'm sure that this selection is special for you and your family. I'm sure you've had a chance to kind of see what these Select Fest games are all about. What are you looking forward to being a part of this one?
Looking forward to facing good kids from the East and the West. Well, mainly from the West, my bad. And just having fun out there, just playing and being me.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Tyson. So for those who haven't had a chance to see you play, they're going to get to see you play on a big stage. This game is going to be on Perfect Game TV. What can we see from you? Tell us a little bit about your game.
I'm very competitive. I'll die for any ball I need to get, make the plays when I need to, and just hardworking. Just ready to go out there and put it all on the field.
Do you have a message for the West? Anything you want to say to that team that you're going to be facing coming up here?
We're coming for you. Trust me. It's gonna be brutal.
Tyson, thank you so much. Congratulations again. We can't wait to see you out there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
When we return, he was a 13U and 14U Select Fest participant, and last year he was the 14U Player of the Year. Coming up, a conversation with Jacob Kendall. This is Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Welcome back to Perfect Game Weekly, presented by Rawlings. Two-time Select Fest alum and last year's 14U Player of the Year, Jacob Kendall, is a familiar name in Perfect Game. His approach at the plate is much like his swing, simple, and it's been amazing to watch him grow over the past few years. Perfect Game's Darren Sutton recently caught up with the 5th-ranked player in the class of 2025 at the recently held Sophomore Showcase. Let's get to know Jacob Kendall.
From the left side of the batter's box out of St. Augustine, Florida, the Player of the Year. Very talented player as he loads the back leg and goes to work. Line drive, base hit. Kendall backs up all the hardware he has earned. Describe as deeply as you want your hitting approach.
My approach is just get a strike, find a barrel, find a gap, try to get a double. Just keep it simple, not doing too much, not trying to hit a home run. Just helping the team out, get on base. You know, having the confidence, working out so much that you know you can transfer it to a game. And being able to know that you're one of the top players, you can hang with these guys. I do a lot of stuff on my own. Like I do like push-ups, sit-ups a lot. Try to get like a target of like 200 a day. Just keep it simple like that. Just make sure I'm doing that consistently. And then I might have this thing called hot works at night. It's like hot yoga. About 130 degrees. They're just doing yoga. Helps you in game. And I go hit with my buddy sometimes, meet up with them, and we'll all get working together. And I do off the tee a lot. I'll stay in there for about an hour. Just work on staying middle, not doing too much off the tee, and just finding my right swing path. I just want to strike the hit, be selective, and make sure I get a strike to hit, and I'll just hit it anywhere it's pitched. That's what I've been better at this year, just not pulling and going backside with every pitch.
What have the Select Festival experiences been like for you?
It's been incredible, getting to see the top competition, playing versus them, and getting to see what I'm going up against, and just having fun with everybody. Hotels were fun. We had food supplied for us. That was just one of the most exciting events I've been to. I just got my name out there, and I'm grateful for it, very grateful. It's got me going. That's my future. That's what I want my future to be.
When I bump into you in 10 years, what is your future going to look like?
Hopefully I'm playing in the majors for any team, I don't care. Just any team. Hopefully I'm playing. Stay humble, and it'll come to you if you succeed, have a good success, and yeah, just be chill and don't be like a clown. Just stay chill.
It has been awesome to see Jacob Kendall grow. I know he has such a bright future in baseball. That's going to do it for this week's episode of PG Weekly. I want to give another huge congratulations to all of the members of this year's 11U Select Festival, and a huge thank you to Antonio Gill, Tyson Brown for joining us, two guys who will be a part of that Select Festival. And of course, John McAdams, he joined us to break down those rosters too. Don't forget, you can head on over to Perfect Game TV for all things amateur baseball, or better yet, download our mobile app. Take us wherever you go. That's going to do it for this week's episode of PG Weekly, presented by Rawlings.